What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel, Bad at Games 13. We are going to be taking a cheeky little look at Inertial Drift. I played the demo of this just the other day, did a video on it saying how much I've fallen in love with this game, and that was only the demo. And now I've got the full release. I've sunk about three-ish hours into this game, just going through challenges, trying to get in on an online game, which I'm struggling with at the moment. Just going into practice mode with all the different cars that I've unlocked. And it really is so good. So let's have a proper look at Inertial Drift. $17.99 on sale already on the Steam store, so get yourselves a cheeky little deal, and I'll see you on the other side.
Welcome to Bad at Games.
So we have the regular game modes that you normally find in a racing game. We've got a story mode, we've got challenges, we've got arcade mode, online, split screen up to 2 players. So, it's got a little tutorial, and you can pretty much, before you do any challenge, you can go in and do a full-on practice with the cars. Speaking of the cars, this is going through them. You've got 3 classes, A, B, and C. C being the easiest to control, A being nearly impossible, especially in the beginning. Then they got subheadings, so you've got sort of maximum power, experimental, and then there's not much customization. You can tweak the colors of the cars, and that's about it. Track wise, we've got 10 tracks. Some of them are sprint races, some of them are lap based, some of them are nice wide courses to get your drifts out, some of them are really tight, twisty, and a complete nightmare. You can also do them in reverse, so it sort of puts the count up to 20 tracks, but there's a bit of a cheat. So looking here, we've gone in with probably the easiest car to get to grips with. This is, I think, classed as nimble. It's a class C car and it's nimble. We are already racing our Ghost because I've been playing this, like I said, for a few hours already. And this one, so basically the way it works is your left stick will move your left and right, but only ever so slightly. So the idea is when you get to a corner, is you whack the right stick left or right, and it'll just put you into these drifts. This car, you don't need to let go of the accelerator really. You can just use the right stick and just adjust it as you want to, and sort of tweak it with the left stick. Other cars are a bit more technical, a bit more advanced in the way they control. But yeah, this is definitely the beginner's car. Still super quick, but you're not going to set your fastest times. Maybe in the beginning you will, but once you've mastered the other cars, they're absolutely rapid. So we'll move on to another class C car, but that has a different driving mechanic. So this car is still classed as a C class, but to be able to drift, you can still use the right stick without having to let go of the accelerator. But the difference with this one is if you do let go of the accelerator, then you can sharpen your turn. So you just ever so slightly lift off the accelerator, and then you'll see that the car will take more of an angle, as you just saw there. So you get a lot more control over your drift on this car. So it's just it sort of eases you in to the mechanics, the more how they become more difficult to play as, but definitely ultimately more rewarding. Then we have the B class. This car, it was in the demo. I tried to get the hang of it in the demo. It's definitely more difficult than the other two put together. So this one, if you're holding down the accelerator, you can't drift. So basically if you're racing, you have to let off before you can drift, and then you can sort of smash the accelerator back on, and you can definitely turn this car more sideways. We'll probably get some demonstration of that, as you can see. So it's a lot quicker, and once you get used to the mechanic of how they all control, then this is probably my favorite style. Like this one, this car in particular actually is probably the best car for me so far in the game. It's the one I've enjoyed the most. Been practicing with it, so I'm trying to get halfway decent. But yeah, you have to let go, and if you brake, then the brake just sort of straightens you up. So you don't really want to be braking with this car. It's a very last resort. What you want to be doing is just let off ever so slightly, get your right thumb stick, sort of get yourself into the drift, and then control it with the left, and then put the power straight back on. And once you get the hang of it, it's an absolute dream. And again, like I said in the demo, I just want to hand the controller over. I can't recommend this game enough. It's so good. So now what we'll do is we'll move on to the cars that need your full 100% concentration, otherwise you will be spinning out. And here we go. Here's the A class. Now this is classed as an experimental car. I don't know if all the A classes are experimental, or if some of them are maximum power, but this one is an experimental car. This one's unlocked from the beginning. And what you're about to witness is me not having a clue how this car drives when I first started racing at it. It doesn't tell you, it doesn't say, you know, this one controls like this. You just have to figure it out. And as you're about to find out, so this one you have to let go of the accelerator to be able to drift, but if you drift too much, you just do some spins and you end up sideways, and it's not what you really want to be doing. So you're going to witness some very, very bad driving now whilst I try and get to grips with this particular car. As you can see, I've gone on the same track for each one. This is like just the first track you unlock, so I figured it was going to be the easiest, so we'll get to grips with the cars. But yeah, basically this one you sort of want to be using the brake a little bit, but not too much. Again, it's almost, the brake's nearly always the last resort, but you just have to let go, and then if you slam the power on too hard, then you'll spin out. So you have to sort of get yourself almost lined up again and then ease the power back in, of what, you know, to sort of keep yourself straight. And you're definitely wrestling with this car a lot more. But I'd say, you know, it didn't take too long and I sort of figured it out. And then we'll move on to sort of a lap that happened a bit later, where I'd say I got a bit more of the hang of the car. So I was just being very, very gentle with the right stick. I wasn't being too forceful. As you can see, I definitely was getting the drifts much, much cleaner, much nicer. That ghost in front is actually a previous lap, but I think I end up being it on this one. But there's still a couple of twitches. I think I probably knocked into a couple of walls. But once you get the hang of it, it's just blisteringly fast, and it just feels so fantastic. Which, going back to the previous video where I did hot shot racing, it just felt slow and boring. This is just so much more exciting to play, and everything about it just looks and sounds so much better. As for game modes, you have your time trials. You can go in so in the story mode, for example, you can practice every track before you do any of the challenges, which, you know, some of the tracks would definitely recommend that. And if you're in a car you haven't been in before, it definitely makes sense to do the practice. So this particular game mode here, whoever's in front, you have to get sort of a certain distance away, but whoever's in front will get points. So their points are on the right, my points are on the left. As you can see, they're in front, and the further they get away, the quicker those points go up. So obviously, you know, at the moment I'm behind, so I want to get myself in front. And what you'll see is some absolutely fantastic, epic driving by yours truly, and my score just goes up rapidly. And although it says lap 1 of 1, because this is a sprint, if this was on an actual lap track, you'd have 3 laps to beat them. Whereas every time I've done this so far, I have filled up the meter before I've got to the end of the track. So once you've filled up the meter, you've won, and then it's just sort of the quickest time, and that's how you get your score. As you can see, the points are now going up pretty quick. These tracks are fantastic. I love this track. These snowy mountains, the music sounds great. Just everything about this game I just absolutely love. There's a couple of game modes that are a bit meh, but you know. And here we are, coming to the end. So we're about to, so he got 13 and I just got, well, basically 1,000. Came first, job done. So in the story mode you have all this sort of dialogue, and some of it goes on a bit long. There's no voice acting or anything, so you have to read it all. I'm just we'll just skip that, it doesn't matter. So now we've got another challenge. This is another game mode which is it's called Style. So you have to drift and do near misses and things like that, and basically you build up a multiplier, and the more points you get, you know, the higher the medal. So I think on this one I got a gold, on a previous one I got a platinum. I didn't know you could get platinums until I actually got this, but look, this is the first time using this car, and this is probably drift-wise the best car I've used, and because I've now completed this challenge, this car is now unlocked for me. So the way it works is you'll go through the story mode, and every time you do a race or a challenge in the story mode, it unlocks a challenge for the challenge mode. You go into that challenge mode and complete whatever challenge it is, and whatever car is associated with that challenge is the car that you unlock. So after doing this challenge, this car is now unlocked for me to use in everything other than the story mode. You can use it online, in arcade and everything like that, but you can't use it in the story mode, because the story mode you only pick from 4 characters and 4 cars. But look at this car, I'm just getting this sideways all the time. It just drove like an absolute dream. And I think I crashed once during this, so it sort of reset my multiplier. And if you slow down and stop doing things, if you're just driving straight, then the multiplier will start going back down as well. But you see, I still absolutely smashed it. Still took home the gold. No platinum, unfortunately, on this one. But yeah, just played like an absolute dream. So I'm just thumbs up in this game, like big time. Especially for the price, you know, it's not a full price game or anything. I think on PS4 I saw it for £30 if you buy the physical edition from game. I haven't looked on the actual PlayStation Store itself, but like I said, on Steam it was already, you know, sort of not a pre-order, but sort of a day one sale or whatever, you know, sort of a launch sale at $17.99. For that, it's an absolute bargain. I'm going to be just setting hopefully some high scores on this. I doubt I'll be very competitive compared to the rest of the world, but you know, as long as I beat my own ghost each time. And then we're just going through some more challenges, unlocking some more cars. Right, so we're coming up to the end of the video. Just going to leave you with this last race. Before I go, I just want to say thanks to all the new subscribers, and to anyone watching who's not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. Type in the comments if you're a fan of this game, or if you can recommend any other arcade races. I'm a big fan of arcade races in general. I've got, you know, quite a few oldies as well, you know, but Daytona USA on the Dreamcast, Outrun on the PSP, you know, games like that, just fantastic. Love all that sort of stuff. And this is right up there. This is a big thumbs up from me, and I highly recommend picking it up. Maybe £30 is a bit steep for the PlayStation version. I don't know if it's cheaper on the store, but I saw a physical version in game for £30. I got this for $17.99 today off of Steam. I think it's going to be $24.99 on Steam. I can't remember, but they had like a launch day deal. So I snapped this up straight away. And for that, I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's got longevity with the whole time trial side of things and the online leaderboards. I did struggle to get into an online game earlier. I tried like sort of over the course of half an hour. I tried 4 or 5 different times and I just can't get loaded into one. So hopefully I can do an online video to do with this. I'm assuming we're going to all be ghosted and just be on the same track, and it'll be like Trackmania style where you can't interfere with each other, but you can just see the other people you're racing against. That'd be pretty cool. So anyway, till the next one, if you got this far, thanks for watching, and hit that thumbs up.
Welcome to Model Games.